Well, that's good. Hi.
Perfect.
Rather than we're just going to scare you.
That's so cool.
That is cool.
Stink bug.
Yep.
That is
That's
very
really
cool.
cool spin.
Epic.
Yeah.
That was just epic.
Love that.
That was a proud moment for Chris and I because, like I said, most of our stuff is done by the kids. So to have them come up with something that's that meaningful really meant a lot to Chris and I to be able to follow it with them.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So I will start with because I know your videos start at 2015. So we'll start with that. But just kind of walk us through how how you do your haunt. How the kids come up with who comes up with the ideas. Just kind of your process of creating every year.
This is the fun part. And I'm going to hand this over to Brooke in a bit here because Brooke was one of our youngest actors here. And like I said, everything is by the kids. Most haunts, you're picking out characters, you're getting them trying out the characters, different things like that. We had two boys that were 4 and 5 years old, Bladen and Gavin, that decided they were going to play Twin Chucky. They were small. They were the size of the real doll.
I love it.
So they ran around the haunt, and that's all they literally did at 4 and 5 is running around the haunt, bugging the king. Well, because we knew the kids, my husband playing the king, would pick these kids up and he would run around with the kids. It ended up becoming a very interactive haunt. I'll let Brooke explain what she did as an actor, because she plays our Twitch now, which is one of our #1 actors in our team, and she's the youngest float we have. Float meaning they can run all over the haunt. Go ahead, Brooke.
Well, I started my haunt when I was 5 years old, and I chilled in the back room, and I was told when to pull a lever. My job is...
broke with freaking CO2. Let me tell you, I might not even do that this year. This stuff's it's so expensive, and it's just nothing but just a pain. It's just a pain, honestly.
Because the CO2 is what is pushing the fog out farther and up, right? I mean, because you have the upshot foggers, but the CO2 is what's coming out of the cannons, right?
No, this fog coming out of those cannons.
Okay.
Wish somebody would have told me my voice
in the
sounded
tube,
like
and then
that.
the valves open when on command, and that's
when the valves open, they poof out just a little bit of air from the air compressor, and they take the fog with it. And there's a light in each cannon too, so that comes on at the same time. If you keep this video on for a minute, there's another video like coming up next that shows that up close. But
right.
Yeah, it's we're getting to it. So, and you can't hear this right now, but the soundtrack that I make up takes me forever. Like I pull music and sound effects from all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I drag it all into the GarageBand on my Mac. And I kind of manipulate it and fade it in and out and cut pieces here and there, and I make like a story out of the music from the movie and the characters talking and this and that, and I take that and I bring that over to Lightorama and I program everything. And it just takes months to do that. But when you're standing there, here. So see these cannons? They're all firing individually. And they're lighting up at the same time. And obviously there's some fog, kind of residual fog coming out because
I see it.
That whole tube's being loaded up. So, and you're hearing a cannon blast in the soundtrack every time those fire. So it's really cool. Now watch this at the end. So the drone goes like, I don't even know, a mile away or something, and that's right when there's a big explosion. And it just lights up the neighborhood. It's pretty cool. There we go.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yep. So this is so there we are. There's usually thousands of people out front. We got food trucks. Last year, one night it rained. I mean, it freaking rained. It poured the entire night, but we still did it. All these people showed up. I put a tent up. Yeah, it's like a carnival. It's like it's insane. Like I don't even, to be honest, guys, I got myself into this and I don't know a way out.
Right? I was gonna say, what are you gonna do now?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. The Haunt Hour, with your host, Troy Crivello. Susie Fleesick. And Dan Doble.
Well, tonight's guest is Tim Fowler from Bones Gulch and the Farm Haunt. Yeah!
So saddle up, y'all, because this here's the Haunt Hour.
Yes, it is the Haunt Hour. Welcome, everyone, to another fabulous Haunt Hour. Season 3, Episode 6. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Time
how is
flies
everybody?
when you're
Troy.
having fun.
Troy, another fantastic intro. Congratulations.
I forgot to mute Susie's steps on her.
Did you? Is that what that was?
Yeah. That was you.
I said something after it too. I say something after it too because I was just like, I don't know. I hope that's good enough for him. You could probably hear it. Damn, Troy.
Damn it, Troy.
Yeah, you know.
Damn it, Troy.
It's what I'm here for. I did move Gus onto the he's on the couch and
I did see him.
We've been trying to tell him to get off the couch and he won't do it. He's not a very obedient dog, Dan.
I know. I apologize for that. We'll try and do better.
Okay.
But he is between two pumpkins, so
at least we won't get a bad review about our pets being on the furniture.
You know, I was gonna actually bring that up. So can you tell us what happened today, Susie?
I got a 2-star review for Coffee at Crawford because my dog is in the shop and it was on the furniture. And the only reason I got 2 stars is because the owner was very nice, which I thought, lady, you do not know me.
Right.
You would have given no stars. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I guess it was a lady. I don't know. But like I purposefully don't have notifications on my phone that pop up. Right. So when I woke up this morning, there was a notification from Google and I guess I don't have that one shut off. And it was like 2-star review. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's 6 a.m. And I look and and I got a 2-star review for the coffee shop. Meanwhile, it was the first not 5-star review we've ever gotten. So I wouldn't want to be that person. I always thought, what a life it would be to be the first one to leave a bad review on a business that everybody loves.
Right.
But anyway, I got a 2-star review because my dog's in the shop and they didn't think it was sanitary. My dog is hyperallergenic. She does not shed and she isn't a dog. She's a human.
Right.
I birthed her.
Let's be honest. Who gives a shit?
So I came
I
up,
agree.
but I came up with a plan for you. And I think what it is that you need to come up with a name of a coffee named after your dog or the situation. And I think we should open it up to our guests or our lovely fans that are out there. You know, if they can come up with a coffee name that maybe we won't say the lady's name, but if you want to come up with a name that has to do with the dog on the furniture or something.
She just had a screen name, which again, I don't know if it was a man or a woman. It was just a screen name. It was a Google screen name. Like that's all. So it's not a person's name. They just had a name. So I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
And
if you think of a name for a dog on the furniture type drink, something silly, something funny that, maybe give Susie some ideas. She comes up with really good names for her coffees anyways.
Right.
Maybe we can come up with something to, get at it.
Yeah, she did. Mike is like, really? Other comments. Yeah, she did. Okay, so my Troy happens to think the woman was never in the shop because I actually have a photo on my Facebook and Instagram of my dog on one of my chairs in my shop. So Troy seems to think that she never was in my shop because here's the other thing. She normally isn't on the furniture. Normally she is on the hair of the dog on the chair. She's normally on the floor running to the door when people come in. Right. So she doesn't just hang out on the furniture. She's down wanting to see what's going on. Anyway, her name is Wednesday, and we call her Winnie. So yeah, if you want to incorporate that into the
special
into
has
the name,
to be on Wednesday, right?
Exactly. We only drop it on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So anyway.
You thinks that she makes alcoholic drinks at this coffee shop.
That's okay. I might start.
There you go. There you go.
You know, after I don't drink, but I
Crawford after dark.
We are actually, our 1-year birthday party is
That's a lot. That's a lot, Micah.
That is.
It's already not enough. People have to say like 18,000 words when they order coffees.
Yeah.
You know, because they can't just have coffee. So that's now you're adding those to it as well. You know, half calf, no whip, soy latte, grande, venti.
Just call it the hyperallergenic cold foam.
I don't eat cold foam. Yeah. I don't drink any of that crap. So, you know, I don't need it.
You don't know until you tried. You might.
Coffee's dirt. It's dirt. I'm sure you make fantastic coffee, but it's dirt.
I make wonderful dirt.
It's ground up dirt into a cup.
I do.
Folgers in her cup. So I think it's just, I mean, it's really, it's kind of creepy right now. I feel like there's some
haunting news. Haunting news
about haunting.
I've got haunting news, but I'm gonna go last. Nah.
Oh, you're gonna go last? Okay.
Yeah, I go last.
I don't have any pictures for your haunting news, so I guess
I know. That's just
we don't know anything about your news. It's gonna be news to
you'll
us
find
too.
It humorous.
Okay. So we're gonna go with we'll go with mine real fast. I don't know how long it is. I made the video, but I don't know how long it is. So we didn't get to it last week, but we're gonna get to it this week. So I will have this play as we're going here. What's the TV going here? What's this? It's a weird TV. Oh, look at that. Oh, we remember that from we were kids, huh?
Well, Susie does.
I was in my 20s by then.
Oh, Houston, Texas. What? What's this? Oh. What? Who put this up there?
I think it created itself.
It did. Don't worry, I made it much shorter than the original intro.
What's it for?
It's for the Texas Terror Tours, Dan. That's what the thing was. Purgatory. We're going to Purgatory, 916 Rust. We're going to 13th floor. 13th floor. And then Saturday, we're going to Terror Isle for daytime experience. And then Creepy Hollow. Scare Factor's #1 rated haunt 2022.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then Sunday, we're going to a mega haunt. There's 8 haunted houses there. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's only $200.
$205.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
It is. Yep. So yeah, we have all the Creepy Hollow also has, I think they have 4 haunts, and then they've got a show every hour that changes. They've got vendors, they've got food and games, and same with Phobia. Phobia's got food and games to play and stuff like that, a big midway stuff. So we're actually having dinner after Terror Isle at the greatest restaurant and bar I have ever heard of, and it screams haunter. We're going to a place called the Pallet Bar. That's just like, I mean, that's just perfect.
Are the tables all made out of pallets?
I hope so.
For sure.
Craig Watt, who owns Terror Isle, he'll be on the show later this season. He suggested them. They have like a ton of food. Like it's just every type of food you could ever want there. I don't know how the cooks do it, but like the menu, I'm like scrolling the menu and I'm like, okay, so this doesn't stop. It's just
oh, nice.
So they'll have plenty of items to choose from.
So Troy, tell us about the tour. So for $205, what do you get?
So you get obviously bus on all 3 nights. You get VIP tickets. We get in the front door. At Purgatory, we get lights on first, and then we come back out. They set everything up, and then we go back through as a full haunt. We get VIP and we get VIP, zombie shooting, and a photo at 13th floor. At Creepy Isle, we get everything. You literally, as soon as after we leave Terror Isle, which is all daytime experience, we get a look at their escape rooms, their haunted house. He uses the escape rooms for the haunted house, so he doesn't take them down. You actually walk through the escape rooms instead. And he'll show us the makeup room and stuff like that. We're gonna do some stuff with people while we're there, so you get to have a little more experience than just looking at things. You're actually going to be involved in it. And Creepy Hollow has all the stage show stuff, but you just get to we're gonna pull up. And I'll say, be back here at 11 o'clock. So there's no rushing around. There's no trying to get on another bus. Mm-hmm. It's just have fun the rest of the night. So no, you can go through the haunts 5 times. You can go do all the other things.
Cool.
You can sit and eat. There's no rushing. And the same with Sunday night. We're going to just drop, the bus is going to park. You get to go for the rest of the night and come back to the bus when you're done, and we'll leave. And so, yeah, it's $205. And that also gets you, there's a large amount of hail happening outside my house right now. We get swag bags with stuff from all of our sponsors, which we have a bunch right now, and we're still getting more. So one of the cool ones is Chocolate Treasures is giving us a chocolate ear or finger in every bag.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah. Hopefully she ships those right before the show because it'll be in Texas and it's a little hot.
It'll be hot. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
that's fine.
We try to make the tour as relaxing and easy as possible. And the hotel is like $105 a night. And they're all suite rooms. So you got a kitchen and everything and couch beds and all that. And it's, we just try to make it as easy for everybody. For the haunts, they say yes, they give us the price, and we don't talk to them again until the day we pay them, and then we come in. It's just it's zero work on them at all. As long as they let us use our videos and stuff, then we're good to go. And
these are nights that they're open already.
Yes, they are open to the public that night as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the full October experience. You get the experience with all the people around you and stuff. It's not a private thing like the lights on thing at Terror Isle, and the behind the scenes at Purgatory will be private.
Right.
But everything else will be with the general public. So you'll get to interact with them and all that. So we just try to make it a little more laid back than your normal haunt tour.
Do you cap your haunt tours? Do you have a certain amount of people?
Limited tickets.
We might. We basically have a rule that if we don't sell out the first bus by July 1st, then we will cap it, because by then I can't guarantee that I would have enough of people to fill the second bus.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, the buses are costing me about $3,000 for all 3 nights. So then now I have to double that if I want to get 2 more buses, another bus per night. Mm-hmm. And being able, with the price that we've charged, I would then have to get probably another 40 people on that second bus. And as you get into September, money dries up. You get a few that'll come on with their friends. Oh, you're going? Well, I'm going to go too. But it's not like a group of people. It's not going to be another 20 or 30 people. So, and it honestly kind of makes it a little more, intimate and unique, where there's not 3 buses of people running around.
No, that's why I was asking if you can't.
Yeah. And it just, everybody hangs out afterwards. We have an after party where we play games and stuff like that. So we just kind of, we make it a fun evening, as well after the tour. So yeah, it's fun.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I went on the first one.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
And he's thinking about going on the second one, on this one.
I am thinking about it. Don't tell anybody yet.
Don't tell anybody. You just don't want me to tell your wife. So Susie, you have news though, right? Ish. Or Dan, or Dan, is it? No, this isn't your news.
I don't know. What's Susie's news?
No, my news is the Chamber Bowl.
Chamber Bowl.
Great idea.
72 haunts enter, 1 leaves.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't think it was 72. I don't know how many they started with, but so this is from the Chamber of Haunters, and they're pairing up haunts against each other. And the thing is, this chart doesn't show it, but each day is a different different pairing. The only date that matters is April 6th, if you look at that there, because that's when I'm on there.
Yes,
and we're
definitely
pitted against Knotted Woods Productions and I don't know who they are. I don't even know where they're located. So,
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're gonna win anyway.
Everybody's gonna vote for you
Right.
anyway. So how does this
Everybody-
work? Because I really love this idea.
Yeah.
you get votes. It's a voting system, but you can only vote for one of those haunts on those days. In the very beginning, it was just vote for the haunts, and there was a big list of haunts. And now this is who's paired up against each other. So on those days, I think voting is open for the whole day for 24 hours. I could be wrong.
Yes, it is.
And so you start voting at the top of that day. So and then I guess they announce the winner of that. I don't even know. What is the first day? They've already had a couple.
So let's see, right?
Okay,
so
who won?
Today is Pavo and Nightmares, as well as Reapers and or Soul Reapers and Hardyville.
Is this the first day?
No, this is the second day. Well, this is the second
who won
round.
yesterday?
So round 1 and 2 went to Factory of Dead and Haunted Bone Cemetery. So those are the two that have moved on.
Okay, yeah.
And so now the next two will be Pavo and Nightmares and Hardyville and Soul Reapers, and then you are up against
Knotted Woods Production.
You are up against tomorrow. So then tomorrow starts.
I'm not till the 6th.
Majestic and Greystone, which Greystone is Sue Jones Gray of Chamber of
Haunted.
Yeah. So,
right.
Oh yeah. And Twin Oaks Home Haunt, Tiffany and Michael Scalberg. That's awesome. Up against Hidden Screams Haunted Attraction, and then. So you could possibly end up going up against Waldorf, which is where the Hell House was filmed. The movie Hell House.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
So that would be cool. Also down there on April 11th is Fatal Fear Haunted House. That is a badass home haunt in Austin, Texas. That is, it is somebody said on a post, they said they're a pro haunt stuck in the backyard. Like it is four themes. It goes all through the house, all through the backyard. I'm just saying, watch my social feeds, watch my stuff. I'm just saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah, but this is cool. Did you put it did they? So you obviously had a bunch of people vote for Crawford on that first round to get into this, right?
Right. Apparently, I don't know numbers, but yeah, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was enough to get you in. So
yeah, so we're in.
Okay. All right.
We're in.
We will vote for you.
All right.
Damn right. And everybody else watching.
April 6th.
April 6th.
April 6th. Vote for Crawford.
Right.
I'm gonna have to make a post.
Right? Yeah. You are. Yeah. They put it up on their page, so you can share from that, and that gives them a link to vote for. You know.
Right. Sweet. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a fun little off-season thing.
Yeah. Dan.
Yeah, Dan. What's your news?
My news is voting has been finished for the Hunter Awards.
The awards. Okay.
Even though I'm not
you
finished.
cast your votes.
Yeah. So
I feel bad for them.
I know. They should. You should.
Right.
You said you were going to be really tough.
I bet. I mean, how was it your first time doing judging?
Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I mean, it's one of those things where I thought, oh, this isn't going to be easy. I'm just going to breeze through there. But then you watch a couple and there's a couple that you're like, okay, I can judge this one. And then you're like, whoa, that one's really good. And then you're judging everything off of the really good one. And then you're like, oh, maybe I should go back and change votes.
Do you do that? Do you go back and rewatch?
No, I do not. There's so many of them. Absolutely.
So it's just
really?
first impression.
There's no time.
Okay.
Yep. It's first impression. Yeah. I mean, that's.
But then you said
one of the criteria is first impression.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So as you're watching though, and then like you said, say you're okay, this is good because it's the first one, so you get nothing to judge it on. And then you get to the 10th or the 15th video, and you're like, now wait a second, the bar has been reset.
Yes, absolutely.
So who decides what order you actually?
Hey, Christopher.
Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. I need to interrupt something here. I'm a little busy at the moment, and I run this little award show thing with Troy, and we're finished accepting the entries, we gave out all of the judging to everybody, and I've received all of the judging forms from everybody but one person. And gosh, I can't think of who it is, Dan. You're holding up the whole process here, Dan.
It's coming. I promise you.
When?
No, Sean, don't give him that.
Well, don't give. I'm not giving a when. It's soon. The end of the night. No, not the end of the night. Tomorrow night. Soon.
I'm holding you to it. I'm holding you to it.
I appreciate you coming on, Christopher. I really do.
I appreciate you having me.
Well, speaking of appreciations and having people on, thank you, Christopher, for busting my chops.
You're welcome.
That wasn't planned or anything.
Oh, I'm sure
I
he
knew
sent
that.
you a quick
I knew that
text.
was coming. That's why I was like, "Oh, I have to say something about this. I have to say."
That text was probably put me on right now.
It was supposed to happen after the DIY segment, but Dan ruined it. We had a whole plan.
Not like we don't know each other or anything.
Right.
Nobody has said anything to me,
right?
That I know of.
Wait a minute. Nobody's mentioning the judging thing.
that was
2-3 days ago.
I better say something tonight, because if I don't say something tonight and call it out, I know somebody's gonna start roasting me for it. So
right.
Yeah, it's been busy. I'm sorry. I'm getting it done. I promise.
No, it's fine. They take, I mean, honestly, I think I said it in the chat last night that it is this is probably the quickest we've gotten them in. We normally have to hound people for several weeks after the deadline. So
yeah, it's hours and hours of work. And when I work, I'm not going to make excuses. It's a lot of time.
It is
to get it in. And you're like, oh, how hard could it be? It's hard. It really is. And I don't want to
and that's why we get new judges every year, because we don't want to do that to people 2 years ago.
Not it.
If somebody asks to do it again, we will allow them. We already have 3 people that say they want to be judges next year. So
let them.
Let them.
Let them.
A lot of work.
Try to pick, we maybe pick a winner from the year before and ask them if they want to do it, because they can't enter that category again, so they can't win for that. Right. So then we ask a couple of them as well if they want to be judges, and that has worked out pretty well too. So
yeah, it's a lot of work. I don't want to poo-poo anybody for doing it, but it's a lot of work.
It is
a lot of time. It's a lot of time. I shouldn't say a lot of work, but it's a lot of time.
You know what else is a lot of work?
Fact. What's the S for?
Shut up.
Sit down.
Yes, you can get your tickets to the Texas Hunters Convention. They are available now. They always go on sale on April 1st, and I've told them, I go, might not be the best day to put that up, but it's funny. So but yeah, you can get your tickets now. They are let's see, one of the things that they have done. So the 110 is your VIP pass, and with that you get your the convention floor, all the classes, the meet and greet with the meal, the costume ball, access to the VIP booth and suite, a discounted shirt, 10-minute psychic reading, and a bunch of swag with it. That does not include the haunt tour, the make and takes, or any workshops, as usual with every convention out there. There is a weekend floor pass for $25. You can get a show. The adult one for Saturday is $20. Then there's $10 for Sunday. Kids under 2 are free. Kids 12 and under are $10 and $6. $10 if you want to do the whole weekend. You might as well. So
great prices.
And I was just gonna say, it always blows my mind how much you get at this show and how much.
Everything's always bigger in Texas.
For like the VIP, like it's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's just a little extra. It's just like we've said 100 times on this show and every other Facebook post in the world. Every one of these shows does something different and something unique, but it's just enough to like separate it. They all do the same format, but they do something a little bit different. But right now they've only got 7 or 9 booths left out of 140. So that's
it's gonna be a big show.
It's got a lot of stuff. Dark Hour has like this entire bottom row down here.
What
It's
are
like
they?
the
What
entire
is
thing.
it? Is that just Alan selling his masks and stuff, or is it?
No, still. Well, yeah, I believe that they have Still Beast down there as well. That's usually what he does is he puts Dark Hour, because Dark Hour is now owned by Alan Hops, so it's Still Beast is all one thing now. So it's Still Beast and Dark Hour one company. So they'll be under Dark Hour, but they will have their masks and stilts and all that. And Alan will be sculpting usually as usual, but lots of different vendors, all different kinds. Haunt Shirts will be there. Goth Gloom, Mind Trap, Bill Borner will be there. I'll be right behind him, right there. Terror Tours right there. Big old
Look at
booth.
that.
Yeah.
Tours.
Right behind him, right across from Chamber of Haunters and Greystone Manor. Look at that.
Nice.
That was, and next to 916. That wasn't prearranged or anything.
I gotta get my butt there.
You got a
Just
badass little area right there. It's gonna be loud as fuck right there. It's crazy. And the other bit of news is that East Coast Haunters in Oaks, Pennsylvania next year has announced their dates. Oaks, Pennsylvania is north of Philly. It's in traffic. It's about an hour north, so prepare for that. You'll probably need to rent a car or an Uber. But all that stuff's going to come out later. But it's the 25th through the 28th of April. That's 6 days after my birthday. So we'll be celebrating my birthday at that convention because I will be there.
Oh, we can celebrate mine too because mine is May 4th.
Okay, awesome. We'll have a dual birthday.
I mean, it's in November, but let's do
April. Oh, so we'll have like a belated early Dan birthday too. Because Dan wants to get in on our parade.
It'll be the Haunt Hour birthday. There you go.
I'm telling you, if we all three go to this and it's the first time I'm meeting both of you in person,
You're getting hammered?
I don't know. What'd you say?
Panties are going to come off?
Panties.
You said it first.
Your panties did.
Oh, Christopher's panties too. All right. Wow. Okay. All right. Whatever. So that's your convention minute. I think for a minute we've had to hold him in the green room, and I think the minute is up. So do you think we should introduce our guest today, Dan?
Absolutely.
I think it's time, Troy.
You think it's time?
Take it away. Let's see what we've got here. What are we doing?
It's Mr. Tim Fowler.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Tim.
Hey. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you know
what?
Yes.
Right over there.
Everything working? Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's just choppy. It's probably choppy because of my internet, because I'm the one hosting this, I guess. I don't know if that's how it works. I got a big old thunderstorm rolling over me right now, so.
Yeah, true.
Always something. It's always
Don't
my
send
fault.
it down here, dude. I'm done.
No
more rain in
Right?
SoCal. We're not used to
because
this.
he's in SoCal. He's a SoCal haunter.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's actually raining in Wisconsin right now, and it's like 40 degrees. It's gross.
Doesn't it only snow and then get 100, right? In Wisconsin. Isn't that
that's
what
pretty
it
much it. Yeah.
It's not raining right now at my house, which is like Pittsburgh's the rainiest city in the world. It is.
Yeah, you said that. We haven't verified that, but whatever.
We're going to one of these.
It's going to
days.
be 80 this weekend here, so I'm ready for
It's going to be 80 here tomorrow. It's going to be 80 in Pittsburgh tomorrow. How about that?
Definitely not 80 here. Anyway, enough about
and that's
weather.
been your Haunt Tower weather report. So, Tim, as you probably have guessed, we like to start the show off with a little bit of history about you. How you got into Halloween when you were a kid. Any cool little stories about being a kid in Halloween or how you got into it. And just tell us about yourself.
Right on. Well, born and raised in SoCal, holidays and theme parks were huge in my family, still are. So I grew up going to Disneyland, Knott's Universal, and my mom took me to Knott's Scary Farm when I was 10. And ever since then, Halloween's been huge. My dad, was a carpenter by trade, machinist by trade. So he built us, we had a yard haunt, which we didn't know at the time was a yard haunt, just decorating. So I still have, a toe pincher that he built when I was a kid. But, we built stuff but it was definitely, theme parks, Halloween, holidays, until I got old enough to realize like, wow, this is, fun. So that, and then, eventually got older, being a teenager, you get kind of, being a teenager. And then we started throwing big Halloween parties. Once I moved out with my buddies, and they were like super themed Halloween parties. Everyone had a big theme, the flyers, and it was decorated to the hilt. And that's kind of where it started. And now it's fun. And now it's grown into something that's kind of taken over everything.
Right. All right. Well, everybody had a good night. So that's cool.
Later. Yeah.
Wicker says that you're a pretty awesome skateboarder here. And look, he's wearing the same shirt. Did that today.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I don't think you got me bailing on here. That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, I try to. Now I'm trying to keep up with my kids. But
yeah, good luck.
Right.
So,
you're one of several skateboarding haunters, which I like. That's
right on. Yeah, we got the SoCal, man. That's what we do.
Right. Yeah.
But so I didn't even know, like, we decorated and did Halloween, and I think the first Scarlet, the now defunct Scarlet, I went, and then SoCal Valley Haunters was there, and Derek and Lydia, they were doing demos. And I was like, oh wow, there's like a haunt, there's like a scene, and I'm like, I didn't know what a haunter was. I'm like, oh, so there's like a haunt scene, and people like get together and do this. So joined SoCal Valley Haunters. Scarlet went defunct, and then the first Midsummer Scream in 2016. I knew a few people. Went to Cal Haunts, had a booth. Met some people in Cal Haunts, joined Cal Haunts. Went to a couple of meetings, and then that's kind of where I jumped in with both feet to the SoCal haunt scene. We started, invited to build for Midsummer Scream. So in 2017 was the first time Cal Haunts was invited to build the entrance for their Hall of Shadows.
Oh yeah.
And so that's really where it's almost become a full-time thing, the haunting, which I love, which is Cal Haunts. We meet every month. It's a SoCal Haunter Society, and we do make and takes monthly every second Saturday, and it's like religious every second Saturday. And so I've been on the committee for that for the last few years. But great group of people down here.
How many people do you guys get there per meeting, per make and take?
Really average? Depends where it is, and because we're limited by who volunteers their home. So we normally average around 30 to 40 people per meeting, and also really depends on the build as well. Some builds are really, we try to keep them moderately priced. Some of them can get a little bit more expensive. We did like a rocking shovel with a wiper motor. That was like $75. But we'll also do like a, something real cheap. That's like this coming Saturday, we're doing a flickering lantern, and I think that's like a $20 build. So, all over the place. This weekend's meetings, 90 miles from my house, and a couple, I think last month or the month before, I hosted here. So, but it's definitely, it's a great group.
Sorry. I think you guys were like, besides, you guys were kind of like the first ones to kind of do the whole make and take thing, because, between you and Chicago Haunt Builders, and Chicago's been doing more lately.
I think SoCal did it way before Chicago.
Oh yeah. I think they're like the pioneers of the make and takes. And it's like, it was every single month on the nose. It was, which is an undertaking, into itself, to come up with something to do. And,
Cal Haunts, they started in 2004. And it was actually a women's haunter group, would eventually evolved into a co-ed group. And then which, has evolved into what it is now, which I think on Facebook it's close to 600 members, which obviously during the pandemic, we were doing Zoom demos. And so we were, and then putting parts list, or as like, Amazon list, buy this for this upcoming build, so everyone could actually build along at home.
Okay.
And so we kept it alive during, when we were, everyone was at home, but our membership grew to a huge amount. And but our meetings are normally around 40 people.
Wow,
that's still a lot of people.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, all my friends now are cow hunts, hunter people, so it's a great group of people. Cool. Yeah.
And so but you also do your own home hunt though too, right?
Yes, this is video here is I think 2016. I think say that again.
16.
So yes, this is 2016. I don't this was like my first iteration of the farm. It was definitely inspired by like Not Scary Farm and that kind of vibe. The walkthrough, if you want to call it, was just kind of like a little horseshoe inside the carport. And didn't know any better, built everything out of 2x4s and plywood, so everything was heavier than shit.
I've all been there.
Yes. So this was definitely a learning experience, and but yeah, this was my first larger scaled haunt, you could call it.
Right.
When we were at this house. But yeah, this is all me and my son. So this was 7 years ago. So he was like 6 or 7 years old. So he was more for criticizing than any physical labor. But yeah, so this was my first dip into like, we'll do kind of a walkthrough kind of thing. And
well, and that's one of the cool and I mean, I've said the same thing, that doing the make and takes, it makes you make something, even though like I've gone to like 4 different tombstone classes. I don't need to know how to make a tombstone anymore. I know how I make mine, but now I've got 4 more tombstones that I didn't have and I wasn't going to build, but now I have them because I went, but you also get to put, and what I like is everybody will make one, but they're all different. So like 100%. If you make, like the Fowler guy, everybody made theirs a little bit differently. So then when you see their videos, you're like, oh, that's what they did with theirs. That's cool, Right. So that's,
And then it's also, it's more of a, we do the make and takes, but it's also a huge exchange of information where someone's going to come that, hey, I need a little help with this. I don't know how to do it. Someone there knows how to do it. There's so much, information on tap, by our members. And then it's also, we do like a prize table. And so everyone brings stuff they don't want. So at the beginning, everyone piles it up. And in the beginning of the meeting, we pull names out of a hat. And so you get to go pick. And the host of the meeting gets first pick. So, we all recycle and share. And so it's a fun. So this is 2018. This is where it got a little, it's better than the last one. So
that's the goal.
Had some actors, and so I don't know. In SoCal, we have a pretty large, like social media, I guess you could podcasting influencer people. And I think this was one of the first years where I got quite a bit of traffic and people started posting our stuff, which was
is this still a horseshoe through the carport?
It's expanded out into the driveway.
Got it.
So
nice.
Yeah. And so this was, it's all on a backstory. All the haunts that we've done have all had a backstory to work, build the theme. So you kind of read the backstory before you go in, and hopefully it will make, some sense as you're going through.
Right. What is your backstory?
This year was the farm was built on, and my friend Greg Packard wrote a big long backstory about how the Norton family, farmed on this land and nothing would grow, and it ended up being on a cursed land, and it ended up being a refuge for, the homeless or the people, the outcasts of society, which kind of congregated, and where people would go missing. And so they'd end up in the barn, and then Dr. Smalls would be doing, experiments on them in the back room. And
nice.
Yeah, this was a fun year.
Do you change your story every year, or is it the same every year?
Changed the story because we moved. And yeah, and so we were here, and so this house had a great layout, and so we kept it as the farm haunt and kept that backstory. And this was Mr. Norton, and he was freaking great. And then once we moved to our current house, the story of the haunt changed, and it was based on we moved up to Castaic, and we moved on to Diablo Place, and so we did Dr. Diablo's Caskets and Curiosities, this is by far my favorite.
How much of the haunt did you bring with you when you moved?
All of no, I can't. I brought everything, and then once I got here, I got rid of like the barn. Yeah, I built a lot of new stuff. Just because it's this is 21, and so completely different theme. I keep all my props, but the wall panels, these are all brand new. Actually, this whole room that you're walking into is a 16 by 12 foot deck that I built on my front porch to put this room in. Yeah, and awesome. Yeah, it was
grilling chairs.
No, it's for haunting.
That's for haunting, yeah. And and just because I had this picture in my mind of what I wanted this room to be in this current home, the one we bought, it doesn't lend itself well to a haunt, but I had to do what I had to do to make it work. And so now you're going into the garage, and then you're going to turn.
Good wall distressing there when you do the the breaking in the walls and stuff. You see the slots behind it. I love that look.
Yeah, and so this is Dr. Small's room. We did try to bring some characters back. So Dr. Diablo is a new character, and then Dr. Smalls was in here with my son. And so this year we ended up doing like Dr. Diablo's and Curse of Castaic Creek. Because behind my house there's Castaic Creek, so we did a story of Dr. Diablo's been raised by a mortician, and instead of building new coffins, he's just been dumping the bodies in the back. And so this was Castaic Creek, where we had actors in there and some air cannons and stuff. But as we were building, my son, we kind of came up with a thing like, well, let's do a story where the local paper boy is missing. And I think on this video, it shows the missing poster.
Oh, yeah.
And so we planted him deep inside the haunt. And so we had an actor out front, and it was the paper boy's mom. And she was giving out flyers for missing, asking if they've seen the paper boy. And so it kind of gave all the people that were coming by kind of a goal. It's like, if you see him, try to rescue him. And it was pretty fun, and it kind of gave a little bit of dialogue. I was acting this year, and so once you came into the office, Dr. Diablo was asking if you were looking for the boy, and then it went from there. And eventually you'll find him, which is it was pretty amusing. And my son gets into it pretty hardcore, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome.
That facade is amazing. I love it.
I know, I love it.
Thank you, appreciate that. That was that's foam. That's 4-inch foam up that sign up there that I carved just like a tombstone, but
right.
Yeah.
So I saw that you had the laser swamp, but I know in your other video it was windy. Do you get enough? Do you not get wind in this area very often?
Oh, we get tons of wind, dude.
Oh, okay, that was
that was the last how we built it. That's actually going down our driveway. So I had a 10 by 20 carport, the ones you buy like Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And then so there's a missing poster,
Oh yeah.
And so we have like the haunt list and Castaic news that was out in the front yard.
Nice.
And not just so it's my sister-in-law, so she was there giving out posters, looking for her missing son. And there's my daughter who hates acting the haunt, so she just sits there and looks creepy. Which works well because she's so good at it, but she don't, she's and so this is Dr. Diablo's office, and that's me. And I'm not a very good actor. I'm not but I bought that mask from Immortal. I didn't want anyone else to wear it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Right? You gotta do it.
I hear you.
Ain't that the truth?
So yeah, this was I put a roof on this room and everything, so this was fun. So it
I remember watching this last year because you submitted it to the awards, because I was like I've seen that guy before, and I was like, oh yeah, this was one of the ones we had to watch to judge.
Yeah, and I like putting, if you go, I don't know if you can go back, but the picture on the wall there of the older couple.
Let's see, where is it?
Yeah, I think leave it there. Yeah, it should be. So there, I always leave Easter eggs in the haunt. So that's Walter and Cordelia Knott from Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so I'm a huge fan of Knott's. So I always leave little Easter eggs from Knott's Berry Farm in my haunts. And so people that know, there's nothing that says it or anything, but
right.
This is kind of a little SoCal thing.
Right. Yeah, I agree, Teres. This is, doing the amount of detail to add all the little things onto the shelves and the wallpaper, and
so many layers.
To me, that's the funnest part. And being at a home haunt and having everything at home. So I get off of work, eat dinner, and then go out in the front yard until
right,
midnight. One
right,
midnight, whenever sitting out there by myself. Then why? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm fine.
I'm playing with lights. I'm playing with fog.
I'll be in tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah, and so that's the hallway going into the garage, and an actor sitting there, which is fun.
Yeah,
but building in the garage, every wall panel is, you've got 3 different size of wall panels in there, and that's my buddy Greg Packard. He's an Epic Home Haunts for Restless Souls Manor. And then there's my son running around in there. So there's your Lost Paper Boy, which is kind of like he's made himself at home inside the operating room in there. Which is
it's like a little playground for him.
Yeah, he's great. He loves this stuff, and he's been acting in our haunt for ever since he was like 6-7 years old. And that Happy Founders Day little poster is from Knott's Berry Farm as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so anyways, back to this. So I got one of those 10x20 carports.
Yeah.
And I didn't put the roof on it, but I wrapped the base of it in weed cloth.
Okay.
To keep any wind from penetrating it. This is the last room we put up, just because we do get wind up here.
Right.
And so the top, and then so I wrap the base of it in weed cloth, and then cover the rest of it in camo netting. And we just fogged the hell out of it. Like we didn't use haze or anything. We used, like fog bog, and it was, and it worked really well. And fortunately, the wind really wasn't an issue at that time.
Yeah, you either miss that night of filming, or you hit it. And it's like like you forget until like the very end, and you're like, I want to go out there, and it's windier than crap, or stuff's already been knocked down. You're like, dang it.
Yeah, and I've had my haunt blow down, which when I was kind of naive and not knowing really what I'm not saying I know what I'm doing now, but back then I really didn't know what I was doing. And I made a huge long stretch of walls down the driveway with nothing, and anyways it blew down. So I have since changed my buildings ways to build stuff.
So how many nights are you open in the season?
When we were doing the home haunt, we would do like 3 nights in Halloween. Mm-hmm. And Halloween we wouldn't, because in my neighborhood it's mostly little kids, And then most of my friends are haunters, so they want to be home for Halloween. And so the years that we've done it here in Castaic, we have no actors. We take as much of the gore out as possible because we get really little kids. And I bring some of like the funner props, ghosts and goblins, stuff that's not as scary. And we'd let the kids just come and go through the haunt with just the show lighting and fog without any scares.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it was normally like 3 nights with the full show. But last year was our first year at Bones Gulch. Wow, Bones Gulch.
I was going to say you. So explain how the 3 of you got together, because I know it's 3 different haunts, right?
It is. So it's myself, Scott Sibley, and Greg Packard, and you might know them. They were both in Epic Home Haunts. Scott Sibley, Beware the Dark Realm, did the old, the castle, the medieval theme, and Greg Packard did Restless Souls Manor with the haunted mansion type of theme. And we're all Greg Packard's, one of my best friends. Scott Sibley's about 15 minutes from where I live now, and we've all known each other, just from the local scene. And Scott has done a pro haunt previously with the city, and his haunt gets a lot of people. His home haunt, like he gets a lot of so many people. But anyways, we were talking, and he said, "Would you be interested in doing something more if the opportunity became available?" And I said, "Well, sure." And so he was, bugging the city for a spot, which never panned out. Halloween 2021, he was approached by a representative from the LA Sheriff's Department who runs the LA Sheriff's Department Museum. And he said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing something? We have an equestrian event center up here in Castaic that's really underutilized and doing it a charity event." And Scott said yes. And then he reached out to me and Greg. And if we were, up for it, we were like, well, yeah, of course we said yes. And then, but let's see if this is real, and because there's a ton of red tape, as you can imagine. Long story short, so that was on Halloween of 2021. Our first build day was May 21st of 2022 to open October of the same year. It's a huge event center. It's an equestrian center. And we donated all of our panels. So it was 3 home haunts coming together. We all were, we all grew up going to Not Scary Farm. We're all a fan of the Old West. So that theme was just like easy. And it fit where it is, fit the location very well. So they had a 5,400 square foot flat dirt lot surrounded by a bunch of booths that were outward facing because that's where they had their chili cook-off. And so they said, and we said, "Do you want to build this?" And we asked, "Can we build it here?" They said, "Yeah." And so we got all of our stuff. When we run out of our material, the sheriff's department stepped up and purchased as much lumber as we needed.
Wow.
And so it's got a stage, it's got permanent bathrooms, it's got 27 little booths that were decorated. And then so everything you're seeing here is all a new build. And so it's Bones Gulch. It's the the Curse of a Mine from Jack Osos, and the name of the equestrian center was Jack Bones Equestrian Center. And so,
nice.
Yeah, it was a definitely to build this haunt, and ultimately it was like 4.5 months.
Yeah,
like 4 months. It was brutal. The paint was still wet, and this is the first time for the sheriff's department doing something like this. First time for me doing something on this scale. And but it came out really good. They were a little gun shy of having huge crowds their first year, so we had the marketing budget was $0, so it was all Instagram and Facebook, and they printed us some posters, which we put around town. And fortunately, you know, we have friends. We're friends with, you know, the people that put on Midsummer Scream, and you know, a lot of the podcasters and Instagram local people that promoted it for us. So it is a charity haunt. We did all this. No one here is making any money. It all goes to the LF Sheriff's Department Museum to maintain it and to improve it. And so this first year they were actually able to put $18,000, you know, towards the museum on their first year. So we feel it was successful. I don't think they expected what they got, you know.
Right. This
is
intense.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the scariest haunt. There's a lot of show moments and a lot of interaction with the actors to progress the story. So as you go, there's Greg, you know, as you know, warning you about going in the mine. And there's a lot of funny moments. If you go to the beginning, our saloon's a little bit raunchy, which is hilarious, and people loved it. You know, and this is you know, and all of our actors are our friends and volunteers. So there was nobody there making money. And I think it came out cool. We still have a ton of work to do on it. You know, we're still waiting for the okay for this year. It's a permanent build, so it's all still up.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah. So we weren't gonna do this without, like, we're not tearing this down. And and then so there's a whole story if you see this rock work. So we're up here, we're in Valencia Castellera here. There's a lot of sound stages, and Greg Packard and I were driving to go grab some lunch, and our parking lot, we see all of this rock work foam in a parking lot of a sound stage. And so it was a Sunday. We pull in and talk to the security guard, and he's like, "It's been sitting here for so long. I don't know." I'm like, "Well, could you pass my number to, you know, whoever runs it?"
Right.
Anyway, they ended up giving our information to the construction coordinator. He talked to, I think, Paramount, and they said, "If you can get it out of here, it's yours."
Nice.
So it was trucks and trucks full of giant pieces of foam rock work, and we didn't do anything but set it in place.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool. I mean, also, you know, with this opportunity, it's like we have, you know, they brought us 4 shipping containers for storage, which was like obviously the biggest thing in the world to, you know, I got out of my storage unit so quick. I was so stoked. I'm like, yes, you know, so we have pretty much unlimited outdoor storage. And it's 4 miles from my house, which is pretty cool too. So
yeah, that is cool. Do you know what the rocks were used for? Any sets that they're using?
Star Trek.
That's cool.
Oh, Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I love this wall. I thought this was like a laser light at first because it went by pretty fast, but those are all candles. I love candles. I love candles. I love PVC candles so much. That is such a cool look. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's from Scott Sibley, Beware the Dark Realms castle, and so now it's
nice.
It's in the mine, and but cool. Now the event came out really well. It was so we did 6 nights. So there was 6 Saturdays in October, I believe, last year, and so we did 6 Saturdays, and then we did on October 30th we did a daytime event for free. And so we had a car show, we had a magician, we had makeup demonstrations, trick-or-treating through the haunt, food truck. And so it was really cool. People enjoyed it immensely. We had a great turnout, and it was free for the community. And so we're just hoping we get to do it again this year. We're waiting to hear.
Well, if you can't, do you have to go in and take all that stuff out?
No, this is a really underutilized event space. And so we have a new sheriff in town, but it's true, we do have a brand new sheriff this year. And so obviously he's ultimately the who calls it on what events and things can take place and what kind of budget, if any, we have. If we're doing the same as we did last year, or if we have, some funds to improve upon it. But definitely a new experience, at least for me, going from a home haunt to something on this scale. And that's Samantha Black. Our very first guest was Samantha Black, and her husband. But we definitely learned a lot. Yeah, we learned a lot. We learned to open at 7, not 6, because that's 6 o'clock and it's still light out.
But it was like one of your takeaways from going from a home haunt building to something like this. Like, what was something that was like, I never thought about that, between the two types of haunting?
It's a lot less personal. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I go out and collect like props and stuff that I find. It's like, I spend my own money on it. I'm like, cool. It's stuff to where like it's at my house. I put it in my home haunt. It's here. And into where like when you're putting your own stuff out into a scenario like this, it's a lot different. Because it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just that it's a less personal experience because there's a lot more people involved, and it's not a negative experience by any means.
Right.
It's just different. I mean, I did a yard display at home while this is going on.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But it was different. It was fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing it this year.
Because that's like one of the big, takeaways that I hear from people who go from home to pro is that, well, now it's a job. Did you feel that it was a job, less of a hobby, or was it kind of a mixture of both?
Last summer, yes, because it was hot. Yeah. It was really freaking hot because we were waiting to get the okay to start. And as it's like getting closer to summer, we're like, oh, dude, it's going to be hot. And it's going to be hot. And then once we got the okay, we planned it all out, what we wanted to build and what we needed. And so there was no, we knew what we had to do. But, we'd show up here around 7 a.m. and by like 12:30, 1 o'clock, it was too hot. And we had to leave because it was over 100. And then, as it got closer to season, September, it was kind of like, well, we'll work in the morning. We'll go jump in the pool at my house and then come back in the afternoon and start doing lighting and stuff, because it got really, really hot. So that's what, hopefully we got the okay to start working on it again before summer.
Right. And well, but now that a lot of the structure is up, you won't have to work as long because now you're just adding to it. So you're not doing all the base work again,
100%. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't finish and that we just ran out of time. It was, but yeah, so all these buildings you can see out here, those were all there. They have they had a chili cook-off there. So each station had their own little booth.
That's cool.
And so eventually we'd like to have vendors and stuff, in those booths being able to sell, whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this type of haunting, you said it wasn't like scary and stuff, and it's there needs to be this type of haunts too. Like there needs to be a lot of different times. Like we've already talked about, the 17th floor over there, that does the extreme haunt. You've got you guys that are doing more like immersive haunts. You've got the big, the big name haunts that are doing, just the regular walkthroughs and stuff like that. It's the industry has to pivot. It can't just stay the same walkthrough haunted houses forever. And so doing something like this shows that you don't have to be scary to immerse them in that type of a world. It can still be Halloween. It can still be dark and creepy. And, like you said, some of it's raunchy and stuff like that. So it's something to do that is in the Halloween season. And, you add the Halloween elements to it, but it's still a Western town. And it's like you walk in it, you're in a Western town. And, I really like the fact that it didn't matter that it wasn't scary all the time. Like that's you know, that's a cool thing for the industry. It does not everything has to be scary every single turn, you know.
Thank you. It was definitely fun, and we're fortunate to have actors that can pull it off. You know, I mean, they're so good. That's Gwen in the red and black dress there. She's amazing. Yeah, I mean, but we're fortunate to have really, really good actors that can they could push the story along, and no, it's fun. So,
well, speaking of, we can kind of do this, you know, while we're waiting for Dan. Dan's computer shut down, by the way, so that's why we're waiting for Dan.
Yeah, that's why we're Danless.
What we can do is, we're Danless. We're Danless. You know, but while we're waiting for Dan to come back, we can probably have another question, I think, right, Susie?
Oh, yeah. The Hunter's Toolbox question of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your top 3 tools? What are your top 3 tools as a haunter? Top 3. If you only have, what would you have?
It must be obviously the impact driver, my skill saw. And know what that the cordless staple gun I use quite a bit.
And I'm gonna add a second question to this. What brand do you use? What brand?
Ryobi.
What tool brand? Ryobi. Oh my God, Troy is a Ryobi guy.
Everything's Ryobi.
Not this Troy. My Troy. My Troy used to be a Ryobi guy. He's a Milwaukee guy now.
This thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing is like a game changer.
Yeah.
No more pulling cords or airlines around the haunt. If you see something loose, you just walk up and staple it in. It's
yeah. That's a question we should add to the rapid fire, Troy.
What's your favorite tool?
Yeah, what's your favorite tool brand?
No. I like
getting some heated arguments there because there's all these, diehards out there.
Oh, for sure. And I don't know if it's like, our group, our Cat Haunts group, everyone's Ryobi. Everyone's get the.
You're all Ryobi, yeah.
So we're all Ryobi people.
That's fun.
So everybody has the same batteries.
What'd you say?
So then everybody has the same batteries.
Well,
so then everybody
for sure. Yeah, you have to write your name on everything, dude, so they get mixed up.
Yeah.
But
I love
so
it.
currently,
go ahead.
I was gonna say we have an event coming up in a couple of weeks at the end of Spooky Swap Meet.
Ooh,
I don't know if you've seen any socials. It's a great event. It's put on by Dave Markland and Claire Dunlap of Midsummer Scream, and Sharon John Cook. John Cook of formerly of 13th Floor and Plague Productions. And so it's a 2-day event down at Heritage Square down in LA, where there's a bunch of old Victorian houses that it's like a park, and so these houses have been preserved. And so this is our 3rd year participating, but different home haunts or haunts will decorate each house, and then it's full of vendors, and we bring a ton of stuff to sell, it's a really fun laid back event. And
that sounds so fun.
Oh, it's so cool. It's a really chill event. I'm building an outhouse right now as part of our there you go. And then there we are, Bones Gulch, and so me and my buddy Bones Gulch, and then Samhain's Lot, which is a home haunt out here, and he does TikTok and stuff. We're decorating one of the buildings and be selling stuff. It's a cool event.
I noticed there is one specific name, the Phantasmic World of, I think it's Rode
Montijo.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes, they make cool stuff.
That is the person who makes the pumpkin black and orange flag. the United States of Pumpkin flag. I have mine.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. And usually they're out of stock, and they have to they have to keep ordering it and stuff. I love that flag. So if I'm assuming they'll be bringing flags. So if you go to this, head over there as soon as you can because they sell out quick. Those flags are awesome.
They do. Yeah, it's a great event. We we bring actually a whole bunch of old Halloween stuff. So it's definitely a swap meet vibe, and it's fun. It's definitely one of my favorite events of the year that we participate in down there. And it's put on by good people, so that helps too.
Right. Yeah. So my three favorite tools, or my tools that I love to have, is this. It's the rasp, or this is the Stanley Sureform shaver to do.
Yeah.
Well, no. I do this for foam work. This because I don't really rasp.
True.
But you know what? I have used it for costumes. So yes, I have used it to mess up shirts and stuff, and to put holes in it and really mess up the stuff. So I have
a good idea.
This thing, I absolutely love this tool. It is my favorite. I think I have like 4 of them just in case. They also make the replacement things for these two. You can get them on Amazon. They used to sell them at Home Depot. They do not anymore, and they don't sell them at Lowe's, which is really upsetting to me because like Amazon, you have to buy them like in a 2 or 3 pack. Because if you buy one, it's like $8, and if you buy like 2 of them, it's like 10. So you buy 2.
Troy, do you use those on your heels? Is that for your dry heels?
Well, dude, I'll just run it straight out of the shower. So I got callousy feet. But my other one, this is a game of did I pack it or did I not? Because I totally packed this. I had to go run through the boxes. Is my wife's, which is going to be mine eventually. My wife's Black & Decker, because we have a bunch of Black & Decker yard tools, is the cordless glue gun. This thing has saved me so many times.
Glue gun.
Cordless
That's
glue
interesting.
gun.
I didn't know that existed. Okay.
It is so. I believe almost every one of the brands make those. I don't know if Ryobi does yet, but I know that like Black & Decker makes one. Oh, see, there you go. See,
yeah.
So
we got one around here somewhere, but yeah, they make
that
one
and then my screw gun. My wife got me a rigid screw gun kit. God, it had to have been Father's Day. Like maybe my first Father's Day I got a barbecue. My second Father's Day she gave me that. It's 14, 15 years old. I've left it out in the snow. I've left it out in the rain. I've left it in the dirt.
Wow.
All kinds of stuff. The thing still works. And it's it's an amazing tool. But the drill and drivers, Susie, what about you? Besides a pen, a pen and a whip.
You got that right. That's all I need.
That's right.
That is all I need. My mouth, you forgot that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My mouth. That's my number one. My number one tool. I just walk around and tell everybody what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. It's my favorite tool. That's all I need.
I know Dan's is his hair comb.
His beard comb.
And his video camera. So I know that.
Troy, have you made it down to Midsummer yet?
No, that was also something that I was going to that we were going to talk about was it's been on my list. Even the organizers have asked me, they're like, you need to come down. And I go, I know it. And they're like, we have a ticket for you, ready to go. And that was before COVID. And then all that went to crap,
Right.
So no, it is on my list along with a bunch of my other haunt friends. We all want to make like a trip out there one time and just have like a bunch of us come out there. So it is on our list.
Right on.
But what are like, I don't know, give us like 3 like big main points about Midsummer Scream that somebody who's never been should know.
3. I mean, it's what
3 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, what sets this apart from other conventions, at least, I mean, that are here in SoCal. Obviously, Transworld's a whole different thing. That's a trade show. This is definitely a Halloween and Haunter convention. But the Hall of Shadows, that is where half the convention floor is walled off or draped off, and it's like the dark section at Transworld, but huge. Where home haunts, there's been pro haunts bring their haunts for the weekend. With Cal Haunts, we've done the entrance for the last. I made notes. 4 years, and then I wanted to make sure I touched on it. But so this is the 5th year, which Cal Haunts is currently working on. We do the entrance to the Hall of Shadows. So when you walk in, it's a full themed environment. So this year's theming is a little like horror games, but it's home haunts and pro haunts bring their haunts to the Hall of Shadows and set them up for the weekend. And so last year, participated in with Cal Haunts, where we did Midsummer Estates, which was like a little neighborhood that you walk into, and it was different themed houses. Me and Greg Packard did the Evil Dead cabin. I think I got pictures of it in here. And so Cal Haunts, we had like the Freddy Krueger house, we had a Gremlin house, we had our buddy Jimmy did a mashup of The Purge and Scooby-Doo, which is freaking epic. And so this is some Hall of Shadows. But yeah, home haunts bring their haunts for the weekend. And we have Decayed Brigade comes out and does a slider show. But I really think this is what sets Midsummer Scream apart than just a bunch of vendors, because they do have 350 vendors. Plus the Hall of Shadows, where you can have 15 haunts in there or experiences. And then we have obviously we have in SoCal, we have the theme parks, which represent as well. We'll have Knott's, Universal, Six Flags will come and represent and do announcements and panels and stuff. But like they make Midsummer Screams where you can't do everything in a weekend. You got to strategically plan your weekend to see what you want to see, because you can't do it all. But it's a great event, and it's fun. But I really think like the Hall of Shadows, it's something to be seen, because it's like, holy shit, you walk in there and there's just haunts all over the place. And that's all included.
Yeah, my friend Randall with
Randy.
What?
Randy?
Yeah, Randall. He's quite the character, and I love what he creates, and he keeps telling me, you got to come down here. Then he goes, well, you could just stay at my house, and then we'll just go down there every day. And I'm like, Randall, you live like
it's really far away.
He's like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. And I'm like, no, Randall, if I'm coming to Midsummer, I want to be there with all the people. I want to be there with all the stuff. Yes. I don't want to go home to your house. I want to after. That's fine. But I was like, no, I want to experience all this,
Yeah, we've gone, not this year, but we've got a group of us. We'll get an Airbnb, and a bunch will also get a house, and it's a party. So
good. Ken's gonna be there. Ken is an amazing haunter from home haunter from Vancouver, BC, and so he's a great guy.
Nice.
Is on your long bucket list, Jennifer. All of ours are long. It just keeps getting longer with things we want to go see and do, and people keep making awesome events, and there's just so much to do in this haunt industry now.
Yeah, and the one thing they do, like you mentioned, you got gifted those passes, is that they have you can apply for haunter passes.
Yes,
and so
I saw that. That's cool.
It is really cool, because it's like they appreciate what we do, because they come to our haunts in the season. The promoters and the people that put this on are part of the community. They're
right.
And so once Midsummer starts coming around, they do put it out there, say, apply for a haunter pass, and they'll give out passes for the weekend. And it's the VIP gold bat passes. They give them, you give 2 per haunt, if they choose you to receive one, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Patricia Langston goes there every year, and she's a really good friend of mine, and she told me several years ago, she goes, you can't go to Midsummer Scream unless you get the gold bat pass, and my friend Rollin went there last year, and he's like, the line was like 3 hours long. He didn't even make it in. He just gave up. He was like, the line was so long in the middle of the day. And he's like, I I can't stand out here. And he's from Texas. And he's like, I just can't stand out here much longer. And I said,
That's July. Yeah.
I said, Roland, we all know you're supposed to do the gold bat pass. He's like, oh no, I forgot. And I'm like, that is the way to get into this show, because it is a long line if you're just getting the general admission. You know, and
very much so.
You're in July, or you're the end of July in Long Beach, California. It's not cold there. You know,
not by any means, but yeah, it's there's definitely a strategy to it. You know, fortunately for the last 4 or 5 years I've been involved with it. So
right.
But my wife and kids come down, on Sunday to it's like, you get here early. There's no question. And get here early, I will park and then help you get in. But yeah, if you show up at 10, 11 o'clock, there's nowhere to park in Long Beach. It's packed. It's a huge event.
Yeah. That's why I would definitely stay at the hotel that's right there attached to it, because
it's so worth it. I did that.
Well, they got the big patio with the pool and the fire pits and stuff, and it's right on the beach. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, that's awesome. So
100%.
I mean, having a Halloween and horror convention right there on the beach is that's a cool deal, especially for people like Susie up there, who's landlocked in her little Pennsylvania snow up there. She could go to Midsummer Scream and get out into the sun and the beach.
Yeah,
I had sun today up here.
It doesn't show.
I didn't have it.
It was outside. I was inside.
I was working.
So, well, since Dan is not here, I guess we're gonna have to do the thing anyways. But Greg says for you, Susie, that they make 3 different models of glue guns.
Yeah, that's that's Greg. That's part of Bones Gulch. That's my buddy.
Greg's been spying on you the whole time, watching you.
So, I'm sure. So he was texting me. I'm like, I'm going on now, dude.
That's good. That's good. But normally about this time we do 5 questions for you. So I think we're gonna get 4 of them, because Dan never told us what the 5 were and we keep forgetting. So we're gonna wing it today. All right. So I remember question 1 was if you could spend an hour with any haunter or anybody in the haunt industry, who would it be, and obviously why?
Pumpkin Rot. Oh. Just to sit around on his porch and just bullshit.
So does that mean you know who he is? Does that mean you know who he is?
No.
I am thoroughly convinced.
I know he's like on the other side of the country and he makes cool stuff, but that's about it.
He is the most secretive haunter out there. Yeah. And I can't, nobody knows who he is. Well, there are people that know who he is, and it's a few. I think, and I don't know if you've seen this guy on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you have. Jeff Mays. He makes a lot of similar stringy pumpkin, really cool looking things. I think what it is Jeff Mays is Pumpkin Rod, and he just has Pumpkin Rod as his alter ego, and he just
has his separate Instagram account.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's one of the haunters that we all know, and that's just their side project.
It very well might be.
It's got to be somebody. I know that he's gone to things.
Yeah, he created so much lore, and then he disappeared for a year, and then he comes back, and now he's posting tons. So,
I know. But when he liked my Instagram and my TikTok page, I was like, "Oh, Pumpkin Rat!"
Yeah, right.
Yay! I've made it.
Yes.
So, if there was a haunted attraction that, your one bucket list haunted attraction,
I really want to see Netherworld.
Netherworld, okay.
Yeah.
I'll be living a little bit closer to them, and that's on my list. That is on my now short list, because I'll be a lot closer. Then I don't have to fly as far. So, I've heard way too much about that haunt. That makes me want to go. I hear you on that. The coveted third question. Well, you know what? Since he's not here, Susie or Troy?
It's usually Dan or Troy.
Yeah, it's usually Dan or Troy, but he's not here.
It's usually Dan or Troy.
He doesn't get
He doesn't get it.
So you have to pick one of us.
That's it. That's the question.
Yeah, you have to pick one of us.
There's no more.
Just to hang out?
I guess.
I don't know.
Just there's no context. He just says, did he say Susie? God.
Yeah. It was fun. Do you do Cropper School of Terror? I have a sticker of your haunt in my garage right here, which is
nice.
All the way to
That's
California.
I'm not lying. I'll show you. I don't know where it got.
Oh my God. This is so good. I love this. That's more than you have, Troy. You have nothing of mine.
I don't because give or take.
Tell me if you can see it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I love that. You know where you might have gotten it if you don't know? You might have gotten it at Transworld. Maybe Chad had it, but I don't think Chad had stickers printed.
I have no idea.
That is
100% have no idea.
Be still my heart. I love that.
Got it.
Sean reminded me of the other of one of the other questions. If you see, I don't like the question. So you have been giving,
do it your way, Troy. Do it your way.
You've been given $5,000 and you just walked on the trade show floor. You can only buy one thing though. Of any convention you go to, it doesn't matter which one. You don't even have to say, but you go there, you have $5,000, but you can go to one booth. What is it and what do you buy?
I know it's been said before, but Gore Galore, Ghoul Grabber.
Yep.
For a mind.
I got one. I got one.
She's still running on the sticker thing. She doesn't care about anything else. She got and the last one, and this one actually I already know the answer to. Actors or animatronics?
Actors, yeah, 100%.
I'm just telling we said it last week. Vendors, you've got to start manufacturing humans because the animatronics are not winning here at all.
I love all that stuff. Oh, trust me, it's just from what I've built and what obviously can afford, but I wish being able to afford like a mix of poison props and everything else around your haunt would be bitching. It's just we're not there yet. So right now it's but you do
get to a point where as like the haunt owner, you get to a point where you're like, I love actors and they're great, everything. They just bring such a different element because every time you're getting a different show. But then you have nobody to run the Ghoul Grabber. And you're okay, who can do this tonight? And then you're screwed. And then you're kind of like, you know what? Next year I'm replacing half of these actors and I'm just buying a bunch of crap because that's how we get towards the end of the season. And then, at the end of the season, you're like, oh, what would I do without my crew? And, what would I do with all these actors? And, everything's great until mid-season again. So,
like I said, last year was my first year expanding out to not just family and good friends. So it's a all new experience. And then I've been recently working at Six Flags, scare acting. They're doing that Scream Break.
Yeah, I was going to ask how'd that go?
Yeah, I don't like being a scare actor. So
it's hard. It's hard.
I'm not. I appreciate it more than anything now. But I live like Six Flags Magic Mountain is. I can see it from my backyard. It's like right here. And so I saw them doing a spring Halloween event and they were hiring and I'm like, oh, let's go,
give it a shot.
Let's go see it. It'll be fun. And it's not my favorite, but
it's not.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I I was more curious to see how like the theme parks run their stuff and just, that was it, just to do it for the experience, and I experienced it, and I won't be doing it again. At least, not. I don't like clocking in and all that stuff.
It's literally like some of the hardest, most physically draining work I've ever done in my life. I'm doing it again this year.
I'm going in their haunts, which are already built, and I'm just, of course, being a haunter, walking around, looking how things are done, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. And, I'm like,
right.
They don't give a shit what I think. They're like, freaking, you're hired for an actor. Go to your freaking room.
Shut up.
Right.
Stay in your square.
Were you in a scene, or were you like a queue line, like one of the roaming actors?
Oh no, I was in a room. The
okay.
event's still going on, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they have 2 more weekends. No, I was in a room and I was.
Are you still doing it, or did you only do it for a weekend?
I resigned my position as a scare actor.
You resigned.
I hear you on that.
Good.
I've only ever done queue line acting for the most part. I've acted a few times in just random little scenes if somebody needs me in something. But I like the queue line stuff. Do you think you would have stayed if it was one of like the roaming actors that are out in the midway? No. Okay.
It was. I mean, I have a full. I work Monday through Friday,
right.
8 to 5, and then I was getting off Friday going to Magic Mountain from 5:15 to 12:30.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm 45. I'm like, I'm so tired.
I hear you.
And everyone else.
Wait till you're my age.
And I'm just like, I just want to work on this stuff. I don't want to like act. So that wasn't an option. So I opted out. I said, I appreciate the opportunity, and this is not for me. Thank you.
Therese is trying to butter me up because
that.
I did one night of acting at Rutherford Manor Haunted House in
Edmonton.
And nice. Which was an absolute dream of mine to be up there. I mean, just to see it.
So
but then they asked me to act. I was like, what? So luckily they put me behind a pig mask so nobody could see me, because that would have been worse. So that's good. They can actually still say he wasn't actually here. So if it went bad, they could have just we didn't see him. I don't know who was behind the mask. So
yeah, I go to bed pretty damn early. So once it got to be like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I still got 2 more hours of this.
Right.
And there's a bunch of 20-year-olds running around the haunt. I'm like, yeah, this is not for me.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah. That's what I think. We actually looked at for 1 year of my terror tours, I was thinking about going to Six Flags in San Antonio, and I kind of watched some guy's video going through the different haunts, and I'm like, it's going to be hard for me to wrangle 50 people, but then I saw all the people that are there's just so many people around, and like you said, there's a bunch of 20-year-olds running around, and a bunch of kids, and they're pretty much like, I know, I mean, like, when I went to Universal, parents just drop their kids off, and they come back like 4 hours later, so they're completely unsupervised. And then you have to deal with them,
Yeah,
So,
it was, dude, talking about I was in the break room, and of course everyone's young, and I'm sitting in the corner with my head against the wall, my eyes closed, and these kids are like, is that guy sleeping? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm the weird old guy in the corner. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh, this is too much for me. I can't do it. But
that's awesome.
It's a lot of work, and I definitely appreciate what they do.
Oh yeah. I definitely
much rather be building.
It's messy. That's only because you keep hitting them in the leg, Hugh, and you keep drawing blood, and you got to clean it up afterwards. That's your fault.
Since Dan is not on, I guess I have to be the one to wrap up the show.
I know, right? Yeah, you're gonna wrap it up
because he'll talk all night.
What do we do? What do we do at the end of the show, Susie?
Who's on next week?
No, you switched it.
Damn it.
We have to give where you can find all their stuff.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah. So you got the Farm Haunt on Facebook. It's the Farmer Fowler is the name on there, but you could type in the Farm Haunt. It'll come up as well.
Yes.
You can also go to Bones Gulch Haunt. That's the pro haunt out there in Castaic. Is that how you say it?
Castaic. Yeah, Castaic.
Okay, Castaic. So you can follow along with that, and you'll be all up to date if you're in the Southern California area to go to that next year. I did this, so I have to go back. Right. I guess
that's a good event. Spooky Swap Meet's coming up.
Have the Bones Gulch webpage as well. And so you can get all your information on that when it comes back. Can they buy tickets on that when it does come up, or do they have to buy them at the door?
Yes. Yeah, we will have, yes, you can buy tickets through the website. And normally, obviously, it's closer to, as long as we're doing it this year, it'll be, September to be able to buy tickets. So.
Okay. And then you've got Bones Gulch on Instagram. Do you have one for the farm haunt?
Yes, and I post there a lot for the farm haunt, and it's here, type it in. It's there you go. It's the underscore farm underscore haunt.
That was the one I didn't look up.
No worries. And so this is where I post most of my current what I'm doing. So that's awesome. And this is so there's the stuff we're currently building. That's good clip pictures are there.
All right. Yeah.
And I'm walking around taking pictures and like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, there's our friends came by, and of course I ran out of the haunt to go see my friends. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys?
Of course. Like any good actor would do.
Of course,
right.
And I'm like,
you're like, can I go home with you guys?
Yeah, I'm like, can I just take this robe off and hang out with you guys? If you want to click, this is my current project. Is that, do we see that ladder? Oh, no.
Oh,
go down. Oh, that's the outhouse I'm building for the swap meet. And then up here. Oh, go up to your right, up to your right, maybe your left.
Right
here.
One, yeah. So that is my most current project that I'm figuring out how to.
You're getting into pneumatics, right? Getting into moving all the. Okay. All right.
And so I got the whole guy working and welded together, and I was gonna buy a Boo Flex because it's got 5 cylinders, and the Peekaboo MP3's got 4 outputs. And so right now my friends are introducing me into the world of like Arduino stuff, and so we're gonna control it all by that. So that's my latest project that we'll have it. Hopefully, I have it all done by this season, talking and stuff. So
nice. Before we go, Greg wants to know what about the vultures, Tim?
Well, let's see. Greg's got to break out his credit card and go to beastcraft.com and buy some.
Yeah, Greg, go get them. Beastcraft makes amazing things. So if you're buying it from them, that's going to be awesome stuff. So
no, we've been talking about we need stuff for our Gulch.
Oh yeah. Yes, Sean, it's the haunt hours, but we're gonna end it right here because next week we have 3 amazing people from the Haunted Overload.
Ooh,
sweet.
Yes, we have Nikki, Morgan, and Wallace from the Haunted Overload that will be on. So expect it to go over the hour and a half, the haunt hour and a half. So prepare yourselves because it's Haunted Overload, and we could all talk about that for hours and hours and hours. So
that's a bucket list place.
Yeah, but we're gonna try to ask them some things that other people don't ask them because they get asked a lot of questions. They get a lot of interviews and stuff. They get a lot of video people that go there, and I think we're gonna try to find some stuff that maybe they haven't been asked before. Maybe some inside stories and crazy stuff. So yes, panties.
We're gonna ask about the panties for sure.
Yes, we're gonna ask about the panties, and he wants
3 new hosts.
3 new hosts.
Yes. Well, we already got rid of one.
Right.
We've been trying to get rid of Dan for so long, and he finally is gone. So that's one.
Yep.
So we're looking for a new host.
Yep. Obviously a new host. He said his computer died, but I think he just wanted to go to dinner.
Went to sleep. Yeah. Something.
Yeah. So thank you, Tim, very much for the chat tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good times.
Yep.
Thanks
so
for being
check
on.
out all the awesome things, and we'll be back next week. What time, Susie?
My time is 9.
9
I'm in PA.
Eastern time.
Which means it's
next
10:42, which means this old lady,
Is going to
Granny,
bed.
has to go to bed.
Granny's going to bed. All
I got some
right.
coffee. I got some coffee to make in the morning.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And yes, he is. He actually probably is catching up on his judging.
That's definitely true.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you here next Tuesday.
Good night.
All right. Night.